Welcome to The Bigger Picture with me, Nick, and my guest host, Sid. Welcome to the show, Sid.
Hey, how are you?
I thought you were muted, but you're there.
Yeah, I muted myself. I was
Okay,
speaking, then I realized I was muted.
that's cool. That's cool. So we got a very special show today. We got some guests on again. This time it's the IFO Network. They will be dropping in later, we believe. Let's see if that happens. But we're gonna talk about sort of what they are working on, and they want to map the skies to create a sentient sky, as they call it, and they will use, if I understand it correctly, AI, blockchain, and basically crypto technology and us in order to do that. And they're
Mhm.
gonna explain how that all works. It's really exciting.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm actually excited because I see random stuff in the sky on random days. So if I can help them make that, that'll be amazing. I need to ask
yeah,
how this works.
Yeah, I think the way I sort of understand it is that part of it is just you uploading your information, for example, your sightings, your UFO sightings to the network, and then I guess it will go on the blockchain. And well, anyway, they will can probably explain it much better than I do. But that is very relevant today, right? Because stuff is happening. Actually, UFO and UAP stuff is going mainstream. We actually recently had the Prime Minister of Denmark who addressed the nation and admitted that she didn't know what it was flying through their airspace.
Yeah, that
um,
was actually weird when president came out. Also, why UFOs are in Denmark? That's a good question, right? Why they pick Denmark out of so many places?
yeah, but it was not just Denmark. We're gonna play a little bit about it. It's, what to not.
Also, I don't think it's Russia because a lot of
No,
people were speculating that it was Russia because Denmark is very far from Russia. So, in order for Russia to send drone, they have to cross so many countries. It doesn't make sense. So, it has to be something else.
but let's listen to what she says.
Okay.
nedkæmpe droner. For det andet så har myndighederne mandat.
No, wait. I think I lost the sound.
Den operative vurdering i den konkrete situation herunder af de konkrete sikkerhedsrisici. Og for det tredje så har jeg over de seneste dage været i kontakt med en række af mine europæiske kolleger. Jeg har talt med den tyske kansler, den britiske premierminister, statsministerne i vores nabolande, Sverige og Norge, og med den finske præsident. Ligesom jeg har været i tæt dialog med NATO's generalsekretær, og vi er nu fra dansk side i tæt dialog med NATO-allierede om, hvordan de i den aktuelle situation kan bistå Danmark, så vi kan beskytte og forsvare vores luftrum. De hybride angreb har ikke kun ramt Danmark. Der har for nyligt også været hændelser i både Polen, Estland og Rumænien. Hybridkrig er ikke en krig i sådan traditionel forstand. Hybride angreb skal forvirre os. De skal gøre os usikre. Og det er fra en fej fjende, som ikke tør give sig til kende. Den ene gang, der kan det være droner. En anden gang kan det være cyberangreb. Det kan være det, vi kalder disinformation. Det kan være påvirkning af valghandlinger, konspirationsteorier, man læser på nettet. Men uanset hvilken metode vi kommer til at se, så er formålet det samme. Man ønsker at destabilisere vores samfund, og man ønsker, at vi ikke længere skal have tillid til vores myndigheder. Og alt sammen så understreger det.
So I wanna cut it off here. I think I'm not sure if I'm still. Can you still hear me, Sid? Hello, hello.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but I think I'm frozen, right?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Wait, I'm just.
No,
gonna...
I can hear you, but your video is like frozen.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the avatar then, if that works. Let's see.
Why is this happening to you right now? It used to be fine before.
Yeah, I know. They updated Restream. So anyway, we'll just see how this goes. Should be okay, I think, in a while. Otherwise, this will be my avatar for today. I look kind of grumpy there. But,
Yeah, no, it's still much better than weird face, right? It's not a weird face.
That's true. That's true. So we played the Denmark clip in the Prime Minister, where she talks. She admits that she doesn't know where the drones come from, what they are, and who's doing it. She does mention that they are part of a larger attack on Europe, with hybrid warfare, with cyber attacks, and and disinformation, misinformation. So she lumps it under those hybrid attack issues.
Yeah.
But like you, I think like you, that it might be something completely different, right? Because with hybrid. Oh, I hear an echo.
Okay. No worries.
Well, anyway, yeah. So I think we don't know what they are, and that's sort of what we're going to talk about. With the IFO network, what are these things? And
Yeah, so excited. I know Matt, but I want to know the other guy as well. I think I've never met him.
true.
Yeah.
And I want to play one other clip, and then hopefully my camera works again, because this one
Hopefully.
also ties into what happened. This was actually in
Your
China.
camera is not gonna work. It's still frozen.
Yeah,
Do the full screen, maybe.
yeah, maybe. Right. Can you see the? Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
This is a China one, right?
Yep. It was in Shandong province in
You're
September.
saying that this is a meteor and it was destroyed, but that's not how defense system work. They can't like destroy meteors, so it is something else. Definitely something. It's not a meteor. Doesn't looks like a
The
meteor though.
topic of digital assets. When I arrived here 4.5 years
What's that?
ago, there was very little knowledge about digital assets.
1 second.
And to the extent that there
Okay, your avatar is not working. Do you wanna leave and come back?
Yeah, let's try. Let's try. But I'm afraid that it might stop. Okay, but let's give it a try.
We can restart.
You stay.
Yeah, I'm staying. While we are waiting, we're just gonna wait. I have nothing to say.
Are we still live?
Yeah, I can see. I think it's the background. The
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Just
I
leave
don't
the
know.
background. You can leave this one on.
Yeah, it's just a Restream since the update is super glitchy.
Yeah, Restream is so glitchy. I don't know why they updated that. It was working perfectly. Now it's just a mess.
Yeah, anyway, yeah, it's not the best background, but let's stick with this. So anyway, this is sort of the intro. My point was basically we don't know what's flying in the skies. It's becoming like a big issue, also a political issue, right? In Denmark, with basically she's saying like that the NATO has to get involved in this issue. They're saying it's a hybrid attacks, but yeah, basically we don't know what is going on.
No, but
And
first you need to identify before involving NATO, right? It's like you don't want to start a world war based on like a false information. You don't even know what they are. I am certain they are not Russian or Chinese because it doesn't make sense. Why would they do it in Denmark? And also it's like impossible. I think they are coming from inside Denmark. It could be some people just messing around. They have like good drones and they are just flying over and then they are untraceable. It could happen, right? Because there are big drones out for people.
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, but I think the things that you're seeing in the sky, the ones that
they
we
are
showed
not drones
last
at
time.
all because they're too high up in the sky. They are so far. However, I saw a drone. It was really big. It was like the SUV size thing which was
Yeah,
last year. I literally saw that, and first I thought it was like a random DJI drone, but then I realized it's too big to be a DJI drone
yeah. No,
because there are a lot of people who are flying those DJI ones as well. And I'm very good with identifying stuff, like because I'm looking for the UFO, so I know what is not a UFO. So I've worked a lot on that. So I know what DJI drones are, what planes are, because plane can be sometimes deceiving. If it's like a cloudy day, you get mixed up. So I can easily identify a plane or a drone. That one was flying. It was like triangle shape, but it was a drone because it was dark in the sky, so I could see only triangle lights, and it was weird. But then initially I thought it's just a DJI because it had uh, FAA lighting, you know, uh, so it had those lighting. So I knew it's a human made, it's FAA lighting. But then again, it was like a very weird shape and a big drone. So I don't know, but I think people are seeing the same thing in Denmark. If I have to bet, I'm betting it's Palantir. Because Palantir, no, it's not even a joke. Because Palantir had drones like that. They were doing that last year in New Jersey. It turns out, like in the conspiracy world, everybody is saying that they were Palantir ones. They were doing a test last year. Now they are doing the actual run everywhere in the world. So I am like 60 to 70% certain that they are Palantir, but there is a 40 to 30% chance it could be something else.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, Palantir is now at the moment hot, right? A few months ago it was Lockheed Martin, and yeah, maybe
No, but
I think
Palantir drones, if anybody want to go and do a research on Palantir drones, they are very much like that.
okay. Yeah, but I don't know. Do we have actually an image of the one in Denmark? I haven't seen
We
any
have
image.
no, but we have the light, right? And they are very similar to. No, we have the videos of the Denmark.
Yeah. Oh,
I've seen plenty of them.
okay.
I
Well, if
can't
you say
find
so.
them.
But
They are like lights in the sky. There's like a
yeah.
big light, but it looks like because it looks like a strobe lighting. So
Okay.
they are very smart enough to know that like the other planes can recognize there is something in the sky. That's why they're using FAA lighting, or at least a strobe light that you can see from far away. That's why they're closing it, because you can spot them.
But
And then,
anyway,
yeah,
this is so sort of this is the website. The truth is out there. From yeah, it's my EG. Wow, Restream is so glitchy today. My God, I'm gone again. So it's the IFO network, and yeah, that's sort of what we're gonna talk about.
so
And
basically every time you change the screen, it hangs.
it seems to be that case, yeah.
Yeah, so you probably have to leave and come back multiple times, I guess.
Probably. Well, actually, this is like kind of neutral screen. I'm literally blacked out. So
Oh, I can see your like frozen image.
oh, okay. On my end is black. Okay. Anyway, we'll
When
play
are
this.
those guys coming? IOF Network.
I haven't heard from them yet. I hope they will jump in if they're listening. So anyway, let's go. Hey!
I'll send you one video I found.
Yeah, well, actually, there's a lot to talk about. If so first of all, we don't know if they're gonna show up. They were sort of
Yeah.
going to be here. They actually, like 2 hours ago, I still had contact with them.
Well, if
But
they don't
maybe,
come up, we can continue talking our thing. But yeah, just play the video while we are waiting for them.
yeah. Let's see. Okay, yeah, you got the one where you actually see the drones. Okay,
Yeah.
here we go. Hopefully, I won't disappear again. Okay, here we go.
Ved kritisk infrastruktur, militært og civilt. Det er angreb, som vi må forvente, der kan komme flere af. Og det er angreb, som har vist sårbarheder. Og det er angreb, der har til formål at skabe utryghed og splittelse. Det er angreb, der skal ryste os som mennesker og som samfund. Jeg forstår godt, at situationen rejser mange spørgsmål. Hvorfor er dronerne ikke blevet skudt ned, og hvorfor blev de ikke opdaget tidligere? Og der kommer et tidspunkt, hvor vi må kigge tilbage i de seneste dages hændelser og lære af dem. Men her og nu har vi som regering og myndigheder en altoverskyggende opgave, og det er at passe på Danmark. Og gøre os i stand til bedre at imødegå de hybride angreb så hurtigt som muligt. Og hvor er vi nu? For det første så har myndighederne hævet beredskabet, og de forbereder sig på forskellige scenarier. Det betyder blandt andet, at både forsvaret og politiet vil være mere til stede med antidronekapaciteter omkring kritisk infrastruktur.
It's the same thing. On repeat. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because there are like 4 videos that are on the repeat, and that's the same thing which you already played. But what I want to say about these videos. So last year, initially, I was seeing them. I thought they were UFOs because they were like this crazy lights in the sky. No, I knew that there was drone going on, so I was looking for them. Then I found the actual thing which I shared in our last podcast, which is like way up in the space. Those things are appearing out of nowhere and disappearing. These things don't appear out of nowhere or disappear. They come from horizon and go back to the horizon. So they are earthly technologies. They don't appear or disappear. So these green lights and those things, I can easily identify they are the drones, which I was seeing last year initially. And then I start seeing the other things as well. And it's because of them I found the other thing.
Yeah, okay. Well, I maybe you're right. I just, I wouldn't be too certain of your case, right? I mean, unless you actually shoot one down and look at it, but
no, what I'm
maybe you're right. Maybe you're right.
No. The thing is, what I'm trying to say is, the difference is like they act like human technology because it has that FAA lighting. It has red, green, and white lighting. Even in the videos, you can see that, and they are specifically designed for airplanes to see, so they don't. They don't collide. That's why I'm just saying, why would alien use FAA lighting? First of all,
no, but I mean, some of them had the blinking lights. That's true.
yeah, blinking
I
light.
also saw one, like a bright star.
Blinking light is FAA lighting. So if you read the FAA lighting,
But
blinking light itself is FAA lighting.
Okay, but this one right here doesn't have a blinking light. This is like a bright star. So that
Yeah, that's a strobe. That's not a bright star. That's a strobe light on the hazy day or the light cloudy day.
But it's not blinking. It's not blinking.
Det er jo
No, it
også
doesn't
derfor,
have
vi
to
blev...
blink all the time. What I'm saying, FAA lighting, one strobe has to be on all the time. If you can't turn on the strobe, and you specifically turn on the strobe in the cloudy day. So if it's like a clear sky, you don't turn on the strobe. You just leave the blinking one. It's easily to spot. But when there's like light clouds or haze or something where your visibility is not very clear, then you turn on the strobe.
Okay,
so this is like looks like a cloudy day to me, like hazy day. It's not clear sky, so they have turned on the strobe.
But
that's my assumption.
That's okay. And I believe everybody has his own opinion, and that's why mapping the skies is so important. But when you sort of dive into the UFO lore, with people like Richard Dolan and many others who have done research, you also notice that UFOs have infinite shapes and infinite blinking lights and infinite sizes. So I would be extremely hesitant to claim to say this is not a UFO and this is a UFO. But maybe you're right.
No, the reason for that is like I think Deep State is trying to do something bad. Palantir is their front company. They have the drones. They are doing that. They want to create something big. Project Blue.
I do agree that we have to be extremely careful for a false flag, and as these things become more political, the one in China was clearly it has a political element, a geopolitical element to it. And this one in Denmark is definitely also sort of, it used to be you and me seeing crazy stuff in the skies, and then it was New Jersey, which was a little bit more political. and now it's becoming geopolitical, which is, so we're getting nearer to the situation that it can actually cause an international crisis or a military reaction. So yeah, I totally agree with you on that part, that we run the risk of a confrontation between superpowers over this stuff if we aren't careful. But
Yeah.
I also want to play this one. Actually, there's a lot of cool stuff coming out, so we'll just entertain ourselves till the guys are here, if they will come. But this one I got from our friends at the UAP podcast. They share a lot of good stuff. This is Donald Kehoe. He was from Nike.
Convince every person in this country that flying saucers are a fact. Is that correct?
They should convince a lot of people because of the names involved.
Tell us about it.
I told your interviewer in Washington that I couldn't mention the names because they were too high. One of them is a top scientist in this country whose name would be known to everybody.
Well, why wouldn't he want his...
Because he's afraid of the official ridicule.
He's afraid of official ridicule?
That's right.
More afraid of official ridicule than of possibly alerting the country to a serious national
You'd be surprised
danger?
how many people give us reports and they say, please keep my name confidential. Well, I'll give you
Is it still playing?
No, it stopped.
one report which came to us.
Oh,
The
man.
name has to be left out. In 1951, a UFO circled the fleet in Korean waters. It circled it at high speed, and they launched several planes to try to get a close in on it. They got a radar lock on. That is, the radar was guiding the planes toward the object.
Mm-hmm.
This was picked up by radars on 14 naval vessels. This object circled about, for a half an hour more, and then it took off at a speed way over in excess of 1,000 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
This report was certified, and 9 members of our Board of Governors saw it, signed it, and agreed that they had seen it, and agreed to the contents.
Yeah.
There is another report that just came in from 4 top missile designers or engineers at one of the big plants in this country. They saw an elliptically shaped object and 2 small round disc-shaped objects flying with it over California, November 11th, 1957, at a speed of at least 5,000 miles an hour. These men are well qualified to know what they see, with broad daylight, not a cloud in the sky. There have been cases even where the Air Force has shot at these things. Now, if there's nothing there and they don't exist, why do they shoot at them? You mentioned Mr. Horner. The day after Mr. Horner said that the Air Force was not concealing anything, Captain Gregory Oldenburg, a public information officer at Langley Field, refused to let an ad be inserted in the Langley Base Flyer, their newspaper, which asked that anybody interested in UFOs please communicate and form a little group. He said, I must refuse to do this because the dissemination of information on UFOs is contrary to Air Force policy and Air Force Regulation 200-2. And I have a copy of it here in case you want to see it.
Well,
Wow. So I think it played well, right?
Yeah, also it's so funny because like now we have actual proof of humans shooting at those UFOs. In the last UFO hearing, they
Yep.
actually oh your avatar
I
this
know.
time is like weird because you look surprised. I was like, am I saying something wrong or something? Then I realized it's frozen. But
Okay,
yeah,
when you carry the show, I'll just jump out and jump
yeah,
back.
okay. So what I was saying that in our last UFO hearing, we actually have a video of humans shooting at those UFOs, and those UFOs are acting weird. That it hits the UFO, and then there are 3 separate parts of it which are still following it. So that's the main thing, that this guy isn't looking fool anymore, because before when we were talking about like in 10 years ago that humans were shooting at those UFOs, nobody would have believed them. They were like, yeah, it's stupid, you have no proof. Now we actually have proof. So this guy was right. And I think the scientist he was talking about was really smart not to reveal his name, because the footage looks like from 60s, right?
Yeah, that was in the 50s even. You had some
Yeah.
huge
At
UAP.
that time, if he came out and said that, then he would have been ridiculed because nobody
Oh yeah,
believed. Yeah.
yeah,
So I
and
think it was a smart decision. Now it's the whole picture has changed. Everything is out in the public. Like everybody knows what's going on. Not everybody knows, but like everybody have a good idea that there's something big going on. So back in the 60s when they were saying that, uh, it would have hurt his reputation. So I think it was a smart decision, and now it's opposite. Now those scientists who are saying the opposite are hurting their reputation because they have to grow up.
Yeah, and this guy was, of course, Donald.
Oh, by the way, Mick West, the dumbass. He did you see his tweet that he was
No.
saying? No, he
There-
said like there are no drones at there. It's just a mass delusion.
yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, he's delusional,
Oh
but
my god! I was like, come on, man! What the hell you're talking about? There are literal videos of them flying over the uh,
yeah.
over the airport. They closed the airport, and you're saying there were no drones,
Yeah,
nothing.
and then
Like,
I just want to say this guy that we just saw, that's Donald Edward Kehoe. He was the head of NICAP, which was like Move On, a sort of precursor of Move On, if I'm not mistaken. And he was
oh,
an American Marine Corps naval aviator. And yeah, he was second lieutenant in the United States Marine Corps. So he was
wow.
very high up and a very serious person. And you know, just to back up his claims, because we're talking about UFOs and stuff, he was not the only one. So this is, oh my god, I'm here. I thought I was frozen. Okay.
Yeah.
I think each time I move my browser, I get frozen out.
We might have to end it earlier than expected.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I want to play this one. So this was like the 50s that we're talking about. And, he mentioned disc shapes, lights, different shapes. And this is the 1940s.
This has been known for a long time. Hermann Oberth was the German father of modern rocketry. He was a mentor of Werner von Braun. There's Hermann in the front center, the very grumpy gentleman there. Why is he so grumpy? He's grumpy because in 1954, he gave a lecture on flying saucers where he pointed out that they have been measured to travel at speeds of 19 kilometers a second, which is about 42,000 miles an hour. And he points out that he actually says, if there would only be 3 or 4 measurements, I would not rely upon them and would wait for few further measurements. But there is existing more than 50 such measurements, radar measurements, in 1954. That's like 70 years ago. This was known 70 years ago that these things are flying at spacecraft speeds. Why do people always assume they're spacecraft? It's simple, because they fly as fast as spacecraft do. This doesn't take a PhD to figure this out.
Okay, these were also from the 50s, but I think I also had some clips from the 40s. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The Foo Fighters were, of course, from the 40s, and the Germans, the Nazis, also had like a lot of these encounters with UFOs.
Yeah. The Foo Fighters were in World War I or II?
World War II.
II, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And maybe
actually,
also in one, I don't know. It
yeah.
could be.
No, I think World War II, because World War I was too early for aircraft. They would have freaked out in World War I because they didn't have. I don't know. Did they even have planes in World War I? Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did. They did. Because that was, in the 118s, around
Yeah.
that. And this is like an old picture from the 70s, like before they had AI and before they had, digital cameras. So this is like probably Polaroid, or, I don't know, like an earlier photograph.
Yeah.
This is a very clear one. Like, I mean, this looks like very mechanical. Like, I mean, this looks manufactured even.
Yeah, but I don't think they could do that in the 70s.
No, but that's my point, right? I mean, look, if you would see this today, you would say, okay, this is Lockheed Martin, or this is Palantir, or because it looks manufactured. You got the bolts and the and maybe it even blinks, right? We don't know. That's in daytime.
Yeah.
But you would say this is human manufactured if you would see it today. if you would see it today. But this is in the 70s. This picture is from
This is a disc, flying disc, right?
the
It's not a sphere.
classic disc.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nevada in the US by Traveler in 1979. So this is like from the archives. This is like an authenticized. Is that a word? It's an authentic picture.
Yeah.
It's a legit picture. Authenticated. It's an authenticated picture. That's the word that I'm searching for. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty cool. What do you make of it?
No, I think, yeah. At this one, if it's real, I can't say that that's a human-made technology, because in 70s they didn't even they had jets. The best they had were jets, right? This
Yeah.
is anti-gravity, probably, because there's no exhaustion. So
But you do have researchers out there who say, like with Townsend Brown in the 50s, who went sort of, who basically they say like, they discovered anti-gravity in the 50s and then it went black. So, perhaps this is actually us.
could be. And then if you look at Bob Lazar's testimony,
Yeah.
he was saying that they were re-engineering those things. So there is a possibility that this is a version of human which was inspired by the actual UFO.
Yeah, this could be like a genuine black op or a black
Yeah.
project, like a deep state black.
The problem I have with anti-grav is like we don't have any science for that. We don't know. It's not even an engineering problem, I guess. I think it's a scientific problem. We don't have a theory how it's gonna work.
Yeah, no,
So
well, that's not entirely true, right? I mean, there are actually people who have done a lot of research into that. The way that the Office of Naval Intelligence has done a lot of research into this, clandestine research into this. Those are the claims. You got what's his name? God, what's his name? He has been on. He has even been on Jesse Mitchell's a couple of times, or at least one time.
no, this is not what I'm saying. I'm saying scientifically in physics, what is approved by all the scientists in physics, we don't have anti-gravity right now. Even in
Officially,
theory.
not.
Officially, we don't even have a theory for it. How it's gonna work. So it's not even if you look from the layman perspective, right now it's not even a theory. So it's not an engineering problem.
That is not true, Sid.
No,
There
I
are.
actually read about that anti-grav is not, and I'm just checking it right now as well. There is no anti-gravity right
Oh
now.
yeah, not officially. I mean,
That's what I'm saying. Officially in physics, all the textbooks of physics, the modern
Yeah,
physics
okay.
which we all know, anti-gravity is not possible. What's going on inside? God knows.
Yes, I was mentioning Salvatore Pais. Wait. Let's play a little bit from him, because this is, it sort of ties into our discussion right now. I hope I can find the right spot. Wait, give me a moment. I have to. Okay, let's see. I think probably from here.
Subdimensions. It has problems, but the general notion of higher dimension, it solves some problems. It explains the hierarchy problem. It explains the gravitational weakness problem. Why is gravity, 31 orders of magnitude weaker than the strong nuclear force or something?
And remember what Kaluza thinks of electrical charges. What? Motion in the fifth dimension.
Really?
How interesting.
Fascinating. It was interesting.
Fascinating.
I was reading from Frontiers of Propulsion Science by Eric Davis.
Great book, by the
Eric
way.
Davis.
Eric W. Davis, no matter what he says on my physics, the man must be congratulated for that book, just for that book alone.
I brought my copy.
Him and Mark Millis are amazing, but you can tell that the real forte behind the physics is Dr. Davis.
Well, he says,
my hat off to him.
He says something around the Black-Bill-Brown effect, which he believes, and that was from the book. If you take it at face value, that's, just coronal wind or ionic wind, and it's not actually, a tie between electromagnetism and gravity. But I think at one point he says you would need a fifth dimensional space to connect EM and gravity if this were to actually work. So
Exactly.
very interesting.
I think fundamental.
Oh, Dr. Davis is very intelligent.
How does torsion playing.
Cozy. Oh, Jack, please.
Well, so one of my favorite subjects.
Now we're going into heavy pseudoscience for everyone out there.
So here's what's funny is that
This is all fake.
That's right, brother.
if you talk about Heaviside as a more fundamental treatment of Maxwell, similarly, Einstein-Cartan is a more fundamental treatment of Einstein, because Einstein felt the torsional tensor should be treated symmetrically in free space and therefore zero out. T21 minus T12 equals 0. And Eli Cardan came around and said, no, you can't make that assumption. There could be exotic environments where this is a non-zero contributor. And so basically the two contributions to gravitational force in a geometric context are curvature to space-time and a twist to space-time. So torsion is the twist. And what makes that interesting from a gravity manipulation standpoint is that contents of the torsional tensor are the spin density tensor, which can contain contributions from electromagnetic spin. So if you can do really novel things with spin, either by coupling electron spin to nucleonic spin, or maybe like you're talking about axial spin to harmonic vibratory modes that sort of blow up real fast, you can maybe generate really large contributions to the spin density tensor and get these torsional repulsion fields that act like gravity, look like gravity, but technically they're not exactly gravity.
No.
Wow.
However, they can couple to it.
Yeah.
Under certain conditions.
Yes.
So then you could basically, because gravity can't traditionally manipulate in a lab, so you might be able to manipulate in a lab.
Again, the whole idea of the graviton itself being a spin 2, whereas the photon spins
Yeah.
1.
Yeah. Now, in the broader context, torsional physics is not a theory of everything. It's just going to be a piece of a more complete theory of gravity that slots into some broader theory of quantum gravity.
Interesting. Do you think? Oh, so that's fascinating. But this would be torsional physics, a way to manipulate gravity that binds to gravity more tightly than traditional, transverse Hertzian electromagnetic waves.
Along the lines of multiple tech trees, this could be one of those branches that's important and significant.
That's fascinating. And what do you think of? You mentioned Greer. You were watching this stuff, and that's sort of inspiring. Some of the work did Bob Lazar. Do you think that he was?
I think Lazar is right on the money. I'll tell you the truth. When I saw in the superforce equation, c to the fourth divided by big G being the superforce, and that talking as a linear operator really to the spatial temporal geometric structure, thereby giving rise to energy density. When I saw that, and I remember his words that this sports model is as if it was 3D printed out of space-time. That's exactly what that equation says. So that means that they had the capability to manipulate the space force at a Planckian level. We'll talk about a physics that it's unfathomable. Well, that's why I'm saying they could, that's
This is root access.
That's pretty.
Okay, I'll stop it there. But it's a really interesting interview. I'll link it down below. If you're like into science, like heavy science, and if you know your formulas, like your Einstein and Maxwell equations, and this is way above my pay grade. I can sort of follow what they're saying because I've done a little bit of research into this, but each time I hear it again, I have to redo my own research because then I have trouble
Yeah,
following.
when it comes to theory, I can understand. When it comes to mathematics of it, I just trust those scientists because it's above
But
my grade.
he was pretty high up with the Office of Naval Intelligence, Salvatore Pais, and he had various patents out, developing this kind of technology for the Navy. And even though sort of the patent officer said I think there was sort of like a denial about the patents, but then somebody higher up in the Navy actually said, no, that's not true. These patents are not only plausible or workable, they are actually in operation. I think I can find that clip also where sort of the patent office super
Again, just because there is a pattern, that doesn't mean it's like in motion. Because for example, that guy who thinks 1 by 1 is 2. What's that guy actor who was on Joe Rogan podcast? He had like 100 patents. So, but none of them are. So
Wait.
Just because you can
So-
design something doesn't mean it's like workable.
Okay, wait. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna play another clip, and then in the meantime, I'm gonna search for the other one that I just mentioned or I was just talking about. But then we can sort of we can jump from one thing to the next thing. But otherwise, I have to do it,
Okay.
and then you have to fill this. So
Okay.
okay, I'm gonna play. Let's see, what am I gonna play? There were some really cool stuff coming up. Oh, okay, I'll play this clip, and then in the meantime, I'll search the other one. See if I can
Are
find
these
it.
guys coming or not?
I haven't seen anything yet. I just changed the title, so I I removed the guests.
Sure.
But so probably they will come in a future episode, but I don't think they will be
Yeah, next
dropping.
time we'll charge them.
Well, and anyway, the title fits what we're talking about: mapping the skies. We're talking
Yeah.
about UFOs. What's flying in our skies, and it would be very useful to have a tool to map them. Actually, on that topic, before I sort of play the other clip, you got the Galileo project from Avi Loeb, and of
Yeah.
course he's looking at the asteroids and the flying comets and stuff, Atlas. But he actually also he's also working with the Galileo project to install a worldwide sensor system in order to detect UAPs using AI
That's good because
technology.
until now, what I've seen, he's just wasting time going on the cruise trips,
Yeah,
chilling
so
in the ocean. So until now, but yeah, if he installed that system, that's good because until now, I think he's just wasting time.
yeah, what the Galileo project has three prongs, as I understand it. One is looking into space, these asteroids that is sort of monitoring, like Oumuamua, but now Atlas, and the other one, the new one. And that's one. And then the second one is what you're referring to is scouring the ocean and the seas in order to look for comet and asteroid debris in order to establish that it might not be just an asteroid or a comet, but actually extraterrestrial
Yeah.
material, only very minuscule. I agree. He says that he found some stuff, but
That's what pisses me off because if he haven't found anything, I would say yeah, keep looking. But then he found something last year. He did
yeah.
test. He was so confident, and then there was nothing came out of it. Like what
Oh,
happened to the
we
test? He
don't
never
know.
even come out and clarify.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know the follow up. But
Yeah, it's been a year now. I think he just found out they were just rocks, and he was
I
just
don't
like
know.
wasting time. Yeah,
Maybe. But and then the third prong is
because
what
if there was something to it, they would be like crazy on the news everywhere. Since they were not, I think that test came out negative for
yeah.
them.
Well, I don't know. You remember the Atacama humanoid that we talked about last time
Yeah.
with Stephen Greer and Gary Nolan? One
Hmm.
that one is from 15 years ago. That
No,
clip
but
that I played.
yeah, but initially it was rejected and nobody was ready to accept it. They were trying to prove it.
Yeah,
There is
but
a whole different thing in
yeah,
those
but my point is there were like very serious scientists involved, like Gary Nolan, who's pro UAPs and UFOs, and then Stephen Greer in the clip says like it will only take about 3 years, maybe 5 years max, for us to sort this thing out and to tell the public what we found here, and
Yep.
nothing. We heard absolutely nothing in the past 10 years.
Yeah, but the technology is very different and it's much easier to check for like metal in the rock than search for DNA. DNA is like a very difficult field
Yeah,
of study. But
but
like if you have a debris, you can just test it. It's like few tests you need and you can come out and say something. You are when you're not giving a follow up, it's like you're wasting money. That's my assumption. It can change.
I think each time they really find something, they'll get approached by certain men in black, and it won't ever see the day of light. They
No, he is still out there, right? If he had something like that, he would be. I don't think Men in Black gonna go and mess with that kind of thing because first of all, he's not. Men in Black goes to when you have like a strange encounter of the third kind or even the second kind, but not with the debris. I don't think they will waste their time on that Men in Black. They go when you have like actual alien experience, when you have like third kind of experience?
Well, anyway, we'll see. I'm gonna play this clip and I'm gonna search for the other one in the meantime. So
Okay.
here we go. Lot of whistleblowers.
It would not be
Right,
a
unmanned.
human piloted craft. At the top of the mast, there were it seemed like 3 umbilicals that were there, so that was probably providing electricity, electrical guidance information. It could be having internal monitoring for how well is the mechanism for flight working inside the vehicle.
Right.
So a vehicle that was non-human intelligence that had flown through space, I've never seen a picture of one carrying umbilicals from their home planet.
I don't think so. I think that's a human trait.
So all of that spoke to me that, okay, we are trying to reproduce this vehicle from wherever we got it. But I want to bring up something that most people don't think about. Reproducing something is very difficult to do. Let's go back, just over 100 years. If we took one of the F-22 advanced fighters that we have now and transported it to 1914, and we gave it to the best aeronautical engineers in our country and said, reproduce it. They couldn't do it. They wouldn't know what the surface was made of. They wouldn't know what the
alloys
materials, the alloys were. They wouldn't even comprehend what the computer systems were.
Or integrated chips. This would be it would look like pure science and fucking magic.
Right. And if you can't make a transistor chip, you can't make an F-22.
Right.
But the thing is, there's lots of stuff in an F-22 that even though they were smart and brilliant people, there was no way to match what the industry that produced the F-22, less than 100 years later,
right,
could have done. And so this would have seemed like a spacecraft from Venus or something.
The F-22 would be a UFO.
Yeah, it would be a UFO. They would have no means of, in fact, in my lecture to the Navy PDS, I did that. I showed a Sopwith Camel and I said, okay, it's 1918 and you are this pilot. Now then you take off. All of a sudden, here comes an F-16 flying by you, and you say, "Oh my goodness, what was that?" So you keep flying, and 15 minutes later, all of a sudden, you see a B-2 bomber fly by you. It doesn't even have a tail.
Right.
There's no propellers on any of these things.
It looks completely different.
Yeah, and so he's shocked. He turns around and heads back for base, and just about that time, an SR-71 zips past him at 1,400 miles an hour.
Faster than sound.
Now then, he hears a sonic boom. He has no idea what it is because there's never been a sonic boom. Now then, he lands. He's going to have to tell his commander and the intelligence officer, well, there was this one aircraft that was small. It had this little dome on the front, and I think there was someone inside it, but it made this big noise, and I could not tell where on earth the propellers were. and so he's trying to describe the F-16. So he spends 30 minutes trying to explain that he saw an F-16.
But he knows what he saw.
He knows what he saw.
He knows it's real.
But he can't prove it because he didn't have a camera.
And all the authorities are saying, this guy's lost his mind.
So
Oh, it's a very good analogy. I think B2 bomber one is way better than F-16 because F-16 you could assume there's a high technology from Germans because like F-16 looks like a regular plane. It's like more modern, advanced, but it has all the features. B2 bomber, however, is like looks like a UFO.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
if somebody have seen B2 bomber in 1918, they would be like, yeah, they have seen the UFO, and they could never re-engineer that. They could, but it would have taken them like 20, 30, 40 years to figure that out.
Well, anyway, I think I can't find the patent clip. It's too. I have to go to too many stuff.
No
My
worries, no
sound is
worries.
on. I'll link it down below for the people if they want to look at it later, because I will find it. I got it somewhere, but I can't do it during the live stream. But yeah, I think this is like exactly what we were talking about earlier, right? And with the picture that I just showed, like if you would see that picture now from the 1970s, you would maybe say we created it. But you can also argue the other way, like this guy just did. Like if you drop high-tech planes into the past, like could you actually reverse engineer it, and how would you go about it, and what would it seem like for the people who encountered it,
Yeah.
right?
It's also actually it is also possible that they are from the future, not from the other planets. Because I can see time travel, like if you have a technology like that, I don't know what type of forces you're messing up in the universe. Maybe somehow by mistake you entered back in that world. There's a good episode of Star Trek, the original series,
Mm-hmm.
where Captain Kirk by mistake end up in 1970s, 60s, 70s, and then everybody like the pilot saw it and he lost his mind.
Yeah, that sounds like a really cool episode. I
Yeah,
haven't seen
actually everybody
it.
should watch it. I'll get you the name of that episode. It's
Oh,
like
cool,
in
cool, cool.
season 2 finale, I think, or it's in the middle, I think. But
Yeah.
it's a really cool episode. Everybody should go and watch that one because it just I think the whole theory of they are from future came from that episode because it's a really cool episode. And then the pilot saw it, the UFO, and
Mhm.
then he's just like, what the hell is that? And it's a spaceship.
Yeah, 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 and then I mean it also ties into that famous clip from what's his name, the physicist. I always remember his name. From the fourth dimension coming down on Carl Sagan. Carl
Mhm.
Sagan, mentioning sort of like how a higher dimension would interact with a lower dimension, right? And how you could have like if time is actually um, not what we think it is, like not actually linear, but all at once. Also the thing that Skip Atwater was talking about. Like time is actually not what we think it is. That it's actually a medium that you can travel through.
Yeah,
Then the visitors that are interacting with us might actually be beyond time, right? Or
yeah,
they might have a totally different interaction
yeah.
with
By
time
the
than
way,
we.
the Star Trek episode name is Tomorrow is Yesterday, and
Very
it's season
appropriate.
1, episode 19.
Cool. So I actually have two more things, and then we can probably wrap it up.
Yeah.
So, and then the guests that we mentioned, they will probably be on a future episode. I don't know what happened. I haven't had any contact with them. I see the background just stopped. We mentioned that time
Maybe
travel.
Men in Black went to their place and they said, don't do it. And they abducted them. It is
Yeah,
possible because they are messing up with their work.
yeah. Well, is the background still moving on your end? On my
Yeah.
end, it stopped.
No,
Oh,
it's working.
okay, well, yeah, I don't know what's going on. Anyway, so there were some more whistleblowers. I want to play this clip, which was this guy was actually from the congressional hearings, one of the key witnesses, or the people who talked under oath, testified under oath.
My name is Dylan Portland, a former 1N1 geospatial intelligence specialist for the United States Air Force in an active duty enlisted capacity from 2010 to 2013. I did the search and rescue for the SEALs and Marines who passed away in the helicopter accident, the ones that got bin Laden. I did overwatch for the withdrawal of Iraq. That was my unit I was a part of. I was a part of those missions. That I think is honorable. There are other things that I have done that are questionable. The drone program was actually notorious for suicide. I don't really know how many people know that. Each day, victims of crimes committed by agencies and companies maintaining this secrecy are denied justice is another day our Constitution is shredded.
So we're gonna listen to him a little bit more. So this is just to give you a background of who he is. The congressional hearings were definitely worth watching. There are also the highlights from the congressional hearings because it's pretty long.
Yeah.
But this is Borland, and we're gonna play some clips from him. So first one, this.
I have direct first-hand knowledge and exposure to crash recovery, reverse engineering, integration of technology into
redacted,
as well as the most important piece of technology on the planet, and it's not the craft themselves.
It would be the power source.
You can make that assessment yourself.
So that is sort of very that's a bombshell in itself, right?
Yeah.
So this is basically, you could say he's another Bob Lazar of on the level.
No one is at Bob Lazar level, but yeah, he's good.
I agree.
Yeah,
He's
but look what Bob Lazar did in '80s. It's just you can't compare him with anyone because
No, I agree.
he destroyed his life just to give the truth. It's like Bob Lazar is like Edward Snowden of UFOs.
Yeah, no, definitely. Or Julian Assange.
But Julian Assange just reported that Edward Snowden was like the person who was involved in there.
Yeah, no, okay, true, but you know, Julian Assange.
So Julian Assange is more like George Knapp.
Yeah, okay, but his life was totally destroyed.
Yeah, no, his life is totally destroyed. I'm just saying, like,
more so than Snowden's.
Oh, obviously, because Snowden was smart enough to run out and took refugee status in Russia. Julian Assange, however, didn't. He should have done that because he suffered, no doubt, he suffered a lot for his free speech. But I'm just comparing like the person to person, what their role was, like how Edward Snowden was he's like the first-hand source who got all the information out.
True, but WikiLeaks was, of course, super important.
Super important. Without WikiLeaks, we would have been living in a very different world.
Absolutely,
Julian is a hero for sure.
So this is also from Borland. We're gonna play this clip in a bit, but I just want to read this one. I just want to read it. Let's see, where was I? Give me 1 second. Okay, here we are. So George Knapp says, yeah, in a sense, you're a patriot. Of course, you love your country, but you are a patriot in the sense that there's a limit to it. And when people violate the Constitution or go against the law or treat people who are living up to their oaths poorly, threatening them, intimidating, then it has to come out. And then Borland says something very interesting. He says, yeah, it's infuriating. There's a difference between being disgruntled and me being disgruntled and maybe releasing everything. Names, locations, places, crimes that were committed, sexual assaults I'm aware of, stalking I'm aware of, brake lines being cut that I'm aware of. It would be me releasing all of that, and I'm not doing that. So this guy has a lot of very interesting information. That he's basically threatening the people who are threatening him, that he might actually release it if they keep pushing it, right? That's sort of how I read that statement. So he was. So this is also interesting. So Borland says under oath. Under oath, FBI was there. The Inspector General of the Intelligence Community was there. The Department of Defense was there at points in time, staff members from armed services, intelligence, basically, and went through the whole kit and caboodle to tell the truth and get this on record, because I have grave concerns for what is happening to the people and the Constitution, of course. But let's play this little clip here.
Ramifications, or because you promised you would?
Both, and I still believe in national security, which is why I'm here. It's why I went through the whistleblower process. It's why I'm so upset that so many whistleblowers have been let down. It's why I'm upset that laws are not being followed. It's why I'm upset that SEC whistleblower payments, which is 10% to anybody who comes forward with any information of financial abuse and wrongship, should receive that. There's a number of reasons, but ultimately I believe in the Constitution of the United States.
Yeah, in a sense, you are a patriot. Of course, you love your country, but you are a patriot in a sense that there's a limit to it. And when people violate the Constitution or go against the law or treat people who are living up to their oaths poorly, threatening them, intimidating, then it has to come out.
Yeah, it's infuriating. There's a difference between being disgruntled and me being disgruntled and me releasing everything, names, locations, places, crimes that were committed, sexual assaults I'm aware of, stalking I'm aware of, brake lines being cut. It would be me releasing all of that. And I'm not doing that. I am doing that because this needs to be told. The people that are in these programs and the decision makers at Congress and the executive branch owe it to the American people, to the whistleblowers, to the veterans, to the service members, to tell the truth in the capacity they can, because this is coming out no matter what. And when it does, if they are not a part of it, this is going to be a lot worse than it already is.
So you have direct knowledge of UAP being actual craft of unknown or non-human origin? From your official capacity of work, you have some direct knowledge of that?
100%. Not only do I have it, I testified to it, I provided materials proving it, and it was proven to me that what I provided was in fact true.
Who did you testify to? List them out.
Senate staff, House staff, Aero, and the ICIG.
Under oath.
Under oath. FBI was there. The ICIG was there, the DOD was there at points in time, staff members from armed services, intelligence. Basically, I went through the whole kit and caboodle to tell the truth and get this on record because I have grave concerns for what is happening to people.
But is there something else in between that thing that you saw that went, other experiences, things that you saw, either as a citizen or while working for the government, that you want to share with us?
There are many. I think as of this time, what I will say is this. I have direct first-hand knowledge and exposure to crash recovery, reverse engineering, integration of technology into
Redacted.
As well as the most important piece of technology on the planet, and it's not the craft themselves.
It would be the power source.
You can make that assessment yourself.
So there's of course a little bit of reiteration there, but I think it's important to reiterate this. I think this interview that from Weaponize, from Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp, is a very important interview. I'll link it down below. So he was one of the congressional witnesses that testified under oath. And if you break your oath, right, if you're lying, you go into prison.
Yeah, like the previous FBI director. Did you see that?
Comey.
Yeah, he's going to jail now. Like, why would you lie?
Yeah, well, it shows the level of corruption, right? I mean, basically, we're going through the fall of Rome. When Rome fell, it was also the Praetorian Guard who took over Rome and basically ruled it through installing puppet emperors to do their bidding.
This is why these civil servants, I just call them civil servants, whoever they are, like FBI director or whatever, you cannot lie under oath. You are not above the law. Even the president is not above the law. You will face charges. So all these people who are in military and trying to fool everyone, trying to hide the truth, are committing a crime, and they will pay their dues.
Well, it kind of depends if the people wake up and hold them accountable, right?
People are waking up, and they need a lot of distraction anyway, so they will focus. Because in normal days, I don't think Comey would have been indicted. if
No,
the
but
world was at the regular place, but they need to take attention out of like all the wars, so they are putting people back. Like Charlie Kirk's death was involved, is I think is a
yeah,
part of a conspiracy just to keep people confused and keep them away from the actual issue. So these
and
UFO
to buy.
guys will be in trouble because they are the easy bait for people.
Yeah, and it's a way to take out your political opponents, right?
Yeah.
Basically, if you have two wings of the same animal or bird, as some people sometimes say, like the left and the right are like two wings of the same bird. But I
Yeah.
think that bird is gonna lose one wing.
Yeah, also as we always talked about, there are two groups in even in deep state and all these militaries. One is like pro disclosure, one is hiding. So
Yeah.
right now pro disclosure people are trying their best to get the information out. I think this is ideal situation for them and they are utilizing it.
Yep.
That's why you are seeing more and more things coming out. People right now, if the UFO land at the White House, nobody will freak out.
Yeah.
This is
No.
that
No.
kind
Yeah.
of time. So
Yeah. No. And that,
everybody's like, yeah.
I totally agree with you, and that's one of the ticking time bombs, and the race against the clock is that this stuff is somebody is gonna release it, and the question is who and in what way, and it has to be managed in some way by someone. So there's sort of a race against the time with Bitcoin, with the economic situation, with this knowledge that's coming out. There's a lot of sort of clocks that are ticking behind the screen. How about this news? This was pretty big.
Yeah.
So I actually want to talk about this one. So what was your take when you heard it?
Ah, I'm not surprised because I'm pretty sure humanity is way older than
Yeah.
they are saying. It's definitely way older than 6,000 years old as Christians and Jews are saying. But even the modern science, which was saying that it's 300,000 years old as per the last research, I think it's way older. And then I think there have been multiple restarts on this.
But it's also very interesting the way this BBC article paints the picture, right? Because what they're claiming is that they found this new skull in China in Sunli. Yeah, I forgot the province name. I'm not even gonna pretend to pronounce it, but somewhere in China they found this skull, and then they say, oh, it's very much like Homo sapiens, but it isn't Homo sapiens. It's a new species that we haven't discovered yet.
Dude, 1 million years ago, there were not even. I think which one was that? 1 million. Sorry, what's that? It's like million. How many years old? Million year old. I don't think there were any other species like that. Humanoids.
Yeah.
There were
So
like
yeah,
monkeys back then. There were humanoids, but nothing like that.
yeah, but it's even worse, right? Because this skull that they found is very much like the Homo sapien skull. So even if it were to be some kind of undisclosed new hominid species that sort of just appears out of nowhere, then it messes up the evolutionary time
It
scale.
mess up everything. Yeah.
It messes up
I'm
everything.
not even sure about the evolution theory, the current evolution theory. I don't think that's. This is just like you're making shit up at this point.
Yeah,
And
they just think.
I'm not denying evolution. It is like I'm not saying evolution is impossible. It is possible, but the theory itself doesn't make sense because you had a theory that this is how it happened, and now you find a million-year-old skull.
Yeah, no, I mean, sort of the hominid story,
Yeah.
is very shaky, and if there is a Homo sapien-like new species out there, then that means that species also must have had a evolutionary time scale the same as we have had according to the official story. And then if that species existed, then why would we need another, evolutionary trajectory? Like why couldn't we have originated from them or interacted with them if they existed?
Or their breakaway civilization. That's what we say, right? Maybe
Yeah.
they were ancient astronauts. They maybe left Earth, and they
Yeah,
are
but
coming back.
the
Maybe
point
they
is,
are the Anunnakis. Who knows?
Yeah, but the point is, like, that if with this new species, everything is possible. Like, I mean, it throws a total monkey wrench in the whole theory, right? Because
Yeah.
with this new species, basically, you have to reevaluate the entire theory, right?
Yeah.
But
And then, yeah, I'm not saying that's a human skull. It's just a humanoid skull, which is very similar to humans. But I'm not
yeah.
saying that they are like humans like us. They could be
But it could be.
on a different evolutionary chain,
Yeah.
and there could be something else. But yeah, this thing will just shatter the current evolution theory. I don't
It
even
should.
believe in
It
the
should.
current evolution theory anyway. It seems so hokey.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that, like you said, they're sort of making it up as they go along. One of the things with prehistory is just that you have so little evidence. They find a little bit of pottery here and a little bit over there, and then it suddenly changes everything. Like timelines suddenly
Yeah.
shift like hundreds of thousands
Yeah.
of years.
And stuff like that also prove that pyramids were not built by Homo sapiens. They were built by another civilization way before us.
Yeah, we should actually do a new one on archaeology because there's so much new stuff there that we can easily fill an entire episode on that.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe next one let's do the archaeology one.
Yeah, and then we're also gonna at some point have the UAP, the podcast guys, back on, or we
I
will
think
do
near Halloween, right?
Yeah, around
We'll do a
Halloween.
Halloween theme, so we'll just all dress up. Oh, let's do all videos and all dress up.
if Restream allows, if it's anyway. I think we're gonna wrap it up here. Check out the IFO guys, the IFO Network. It is interesting. It's definitely interesting. I mean, and we do hope they will come on in the future.
I have also some hard questions for them regarding the security. So I want to ask them, but because there are some security concerns in that, but I wanted to clarify because other people will have those concerns too. So it's better for them to clarify,
Absolutely,
like how they're gonna protect the data.
Yeah,
So
and I believe they also have a token. So there's actually a blockchain and a token attached to the whole project.
yeah, if they, by the way, if they give tokens for every video, that would be actually a good project. People will flock into it.
Yeah, so this is the the X account, the account name. Sorry. So it is IFO Network, apparently on Eve, but I think they have like different ones. Wait, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, let's go just to their website. And here we go. So this is X, and this is the website itself. Let's see. This is the command center. Okay, here, tokenomics. So 1 billion supply, Ethereum network.
Oh, it's on Ethereum network. That's good, actually. So a lot of gas you have to pay.
Token distribution, liquidity pool 50%.
Oh wow, that's actually good. And then 50% is what?
Marketing
And development. Okay.
Yeah. And then tax revenue allocation, no buy-sell taxes. All token holders benefit from zero fee trading. Data marketplace revenue. Future revenue from data sales will fund automatic buyback and burn programs. Permanent token burns. Tokens sent to burn address are permanently removed, creating scarcity and value appreciation. Let's see. That will be more fun if they explain it themselves. And I think there's a lot to the project. I think it's actually a pretty cool idea, also, right? I mean,
No, I think because I have like a bunch of videos.
Do you remember Stephen Greer? Stephen Greer when he was gonna release the bombshell. I think that was Michael Herrera, but that's my opinion. But when he was gonna release,
I think it was Jake Barber.
Or Jake Barber. He was gonna release something. And then he said that he was gonna put it on the blockchain.
Yeah, but then he didn't do it.
Yeah, then he didn't do it. But the point is, that is one of the
No, I
use
think
cases.
blockchain is a very secure thing. If you can upload the stuff on if you can upload on the blockchain, not like on a hosting sites where NFTs were like really fooling everyone that this image is on blockchain. Most of them were not on blockchain.
Yeah,
Only
and
the code was on blockchain. There
but
was like Nakamigos were on that, Larva Leds were there on the blockchain, and CryptoPunks. Other than that, everything was on like some hosting
yeah,
site.
so you can only put small amounts of data on the blockchain on most blockchains. But we actually
On
did
Ethereum, but I think on the new different blockchains, I think they are designed for uploading more videos, depending on
yeah,
the blockchain. Right?
yeah, we actually did two really cool episodes on decentralized science with Graham de Penrose and the guys from the Open Code Mission, and they explain how you can actually secure large amounts of data and through smart contracts and data security
On what chain?
and use blockchain with it at the same time. So it can
Which chain?
actually be done.
No,
It can,
which chain? Which chain? On
they
Ethereum, I don't think it can
yeah.
be possible.
Now
They
they're
need
using Solana. Sol.
maybe on Solana, yeah. But I think because like Ethereum is a little bit restricted, I think other new chains can do stuff, and maybe they can create a new blockchain which is store a lot of data.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I'll link those interviews down below. And I think this is the time to wrap it up, Sid.
All right.
It was a fun episode.
Yeah,
Um,
because it was fun, but then I was expecting totally something else, and then we end up doing totally something else. So I wasn't sure what I'm saying, but then yeah, sure.
no, it's Restream was
But it's
having.
Matt. I like Matt. So
Yeah. No, and for the people who want to know more about UAPs and UFOs, watch the congressional hearings with those 3 testimonies. Are very interesting. I'll link the stuff that we show in the show always underneath the video. So if you want to look at it yourself, go check it out. Check out the weaponized interview with Borland, which is very interesting. And also the Soul Foundation, because the one that they showed from Kevin Knoof, the big guy, about the physics of UFOs. The Soul Foundation puts out a really large amounts of very high quality information on UAPs from the greats in the from Jacques Vallée to Kevin Knoof and Colonel Carl Nell, and you name it, Gary Nolan, all the big names in the UAP space, and a lot of people you don't know. So there's a lot of great resource out there. There's tons of great sources, investigators, researchers, high quality content and evidence. Okay, well, we'll end with this clip. I actually found something when I was searching for the other one. Okay. So this is from the 1985. Mm-hmm. Well, we're gonna wrap up with this one. So this was a CNN special report on scalar weapons. So retired Lieutenant Colonel Tom Bearden describes in this report from 1985 how scalar physics can create balls of light with anti-ballistic capabilities consistent with plasmoids, as described by Bob Greener in My Hard Truths 2 podcast, Ashton Forbes. Bearden says they produce an extraction of energy, which is an endothermic reaction, and that is equivalent to a cold explosion. A pilot who claims to have seen the aftermath of such an event, which looks like a glowing dome in the sky. Anyway, let's listen to this clip.
And I believe the thing on April... Weapons analyst Tom Bearden, a retired U.S. Army lieutenant colonel, is among a small group of scientists and engineers who believe that the Soviets have perfected Tesla's ideas and are developing radio frequency weapons on a scale unimagined in this country.
There have been a series of tests of these kinds of weapons, apparently, for a number of years. For example, airliners from Iran, before the fall of the Shah, saw deep within the Soviet Union very large glowing spherical balls of light, which started out small and then expanded to very large size, which are apparently these kinds of weapons for use in an anti-ballistic missile defense role.
Bearden believes that these satellite photographs are of mysterious non-nuclear explosions near an uninhabited island in the East Siberian Sea, and that they are discharges from an RF weapon that uses intersecting energy beams called scalars.
In doing so, you can create, for example, either an electromagnetic explosion at a distance, or you can create an electromagnetic implosion at a distance, the extraction of energy from a distant point. This would look like a cold explosion, so to speak. And I believe the thing on April the 9th, 1984, off the coast of Japan that involved several 747 jet airliners, I believe that incident was a test of a cold explosion weapons. At least it met all the characteristics.
Pilot Doug Happ was in one of the 5 airline crews that saw an incredibly large cloud rising from the moonlit overcast below.
It looked like a plate coming up through an overcast, but it just kept expanding, and as it got higher, it was apparent that you could see right through the middle of it, so it looked like a big smoke ring.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and this sort of ties into the stuff that Salvatore Pais and Jesse Mitchells were talking about earlier. Oh, that interview, by the way, if you haven't seen that one, also the one by Hart Cruz on Action Force with Salvatore Pais is mind-blowing. You know, and yeah, that's basically scalar physics. And you know, you remember President Trump also said that, you know, the United States had weapon systems that, you know, would blow people's minds. You know, that's
the problem is Trump said that. I don't trust a word because he just blabber about anything. He just makes shit up. He stopped 7 wars in the world. There were no 7 wars. The actual wars are not stopped. I think he did stop one war, which was between Pakistan and India. But other than that, there were no wars. There were conflicts. Conflicts always happen. You can't say that you stop the war.
No, and you know, and he hasn't stopped the big one in Ukraine yet. You know, that was
you didn't stop the Middle East war or the Europe war, which is like Ukraine, Russia. So they are the wars.
Who knows? Who knows? Maybe he still will, but it will be a difficult one. I'm not sure.
He's not actually. He's now somehow, for some reason, he just changed his stance. Now he's pro Zelensky. He's like saying, "I'm instead Russia." I don't understand what Trump is doing because he changes stance completely. Now he's like, "Yeah, I'm pissed at Russia and I'm gonna give aid to Zelensky." I have no idea what's going on with him.
Yeah,
he is bad. Like he's really bad with his job.
You and me had this discussion online about it. I think that is sort of a topic for another show that we're going to do on geopolitics. I'm sure there will be an opportunity to sort of tie it all in.
Yeah, probably with the UAP guys again.
Yeah, probably.
Because they are also very much into geopolitics. So yeah, I love seeing them. I love seeing their tweets. They're good. So, but yeah, I think Russia and Europe war is near. It's gonna happen.
I think it's still far off. I think at soon as next year.
No, you know the funny part is, so last night actually, the new embargo on Iran was imposed. Right, new sanctions were activated last night. Russia just sent full cargo planes full of weapon today. They are saying, F you America, F you Europe, we gonna continue doing what we wanna do. So China did that and Russia did that. So those sanctions are used.
I know, but I think at the moment still it will mostly be hybrid wars.
And then another thing, Russia and Iran signed a $5 billion deal of building multiple nuclear plants in Iran. So
next year.
Yeah, but they signed it, right? They're gonna start building it. It's gonna whatever, but they have already signed the deals and everything. So So I think we're gonna see a next Iran war very soon, and we're gonna see Russia war. China, nobody gonna mess with China because China is too big. US will be fooled to mess with China.
I totally agree with that. Yeah, but this will
with
be
Russia. You can fight with China. It's important. First of all, they will stop all the trades in the world. now, and United States is very much dependent on the trade. They import most of the things. They won't get anything, and then China can do anything.
No, that they
And
already don't get anything.
all their bases in Middle East are sitting duck
I know.
for China.
Now, I have my own opinions about it, but we're gonna save that for another episode because otherwise we'll run another half an hour for sure.
All right.
But it's definitely, it's definitely a topic that I want to talk about with you.
Yeah,
But
we
not
just need
now.
to do. Maybe one day we'll just do a podcast on geopolitics. No, nothing else.
Separate podcast. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have to split myself in two, Sid.
Yeah.
I would love to, but I think we have to keep it in the bigger picture.
No, in the bigger picture, but we have to focus on geopolitics.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because as the time goes, I think we'll see more and more geopolitical event which will be connected through UFOs, like the Denmark drones issue. So yeah, I think we need to do. But yeah, World War is coming. They want World War. They want civil war. Be
Yeah.
careful. Project Bluebeam is here.
Yeah, another episode.
Another episode. Yeah.
This was Mapping the Skies. Keep your eyes on the skies. Keep making videos of stuff that you think is unusual. Check out the website. Maybe you can even earn something with it. And we'll definitely get those guys on our show at some point. Maybe not now, but in the future. And do your own research.
All right. Cheers.
And take care.
Yeah.